In this session, we're going to talk about the hearsay exception of dying declaration. And what I'm going to do is tell you the rationale behind the hearsay exception. We'll discuss the elements. I'll give you a bunch of examples. And also I'll tell you how students are tricked by multiple choice questions that test this exception. Because it's one of the examiner's favorite hearsay exceptions to test, and it's one of the most common ways that they actually trick students. So we'll talk about all of this. So the rationale behind this exception is that a declarant is unlikely to lie about the cause or circumstances of their death if they believe that they're dying. Okay, so if you truly think you're dying, you're probably not going to tell a lie. You're probably going to be honest about the cause or circumstances of your death. So as an example, if I'm walking down the street and I'm hit by a car and I think I'm dying, and I say, hey, that green car just hit me, all right, that statement could be used in the driver's homicide or civil case if I end up being unavailable at trial. Okay, because again, people aren't going to lie about the cause or circumstances of their death if they think that they're dying. Now, what I want to do next is go through the 4 elements, and keep in mind that the examiners find it so easy to trick people because usually students will just see something that looks like it's a dying declaration, and they'll forget to actually go through all 4 elements to make sure that each of the 4 elements are present, because each of the 4 elements have to be met in order for a statement to be admitted pursuant to this exception. Okay, so let's read the elements and then we'll go through them each one by one, and I'll tell you the common ways that students get tricked by this. So first, the declarant's unavailable. Second, the statement is used in a homicide or civil case. Third, the statement is made while the declarant believed death was impending. And lastly, the statement concerns the cause or circumstances of death. Okay, so let's go through each of these. So first, the declarant has to be unavailable. Remember, and this is how people get tricked, the declarant does not have to die. So if I say, hey, that green car hit me, or whatever, and I think I'm dying, but maybe at the time of trial I'm not actually dead. Maybe I'm hospitalized, okay? The statement could still be admitted as a dying declaration. I just have to be unavailable, I don't have to be dead. Okay, so that's one common way that students get tricked. Next, this is the most common way that students get tricked, is the statement has to be used in a homicide or civil case. So if I'm walking down the street, I say, hey, that green car hit me, I think I'm dying, but I'm recovering, I'm in the hospital, and the driver is charged with a criminal assault. Well, that is not a homicide case and that's not a civil case. So even if all the elements are met, my statement that the green car hit me will not be admitted as a dying declaration. Okay, because it's not a homicide case, it's not a civil case. So I tell students, to draw a star by this element because this is the one that most students forget about, and it's the easiest way to trick students on the multiple choice portion of the bar exam. Okay, the statement is made while the declarant believed death was impending, so the declarant really has to believe that they're dying. And then lastly, the statement has to concern the cause or circumstances of death. So it can't be like a deathbed confession, okay? It can't be something like, I'm not really your mom or something. It has to concern the cause or circumstances of death, like how you're dying or what's causing your death, not a deathbed confession. And I've also seen questions that test this, and again, students get this wrong because they forget about this 4th element, that the statement must concern the cause or circumstances of death. All right, so that wraps up the hearsay exception of dying declaration.